coming at you live from a couple of stools in the low class studios. This is a feminist and a comedian walk into a bar. I am Justin Golak. I am a comedian, and I am sipping on a Lone Star beer.
The standard.
The standard, so refreshing. People are really starting to get into the bottle caps on Twitter.
Yeah.
So I think this is
It's
just
blowing up.
what I'm going to do for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I'll switch it up, maybe once in a while, but I think this is my standard. I don't want to let the people down. I want to give them their little riddle on the twits.
What was your riddle from last time? Do you remember?
I do not remember from last time. But there's a lot up there now. They've already been answered.
Oh, flatter than a pancake.
Flatter than a pancake, maybe.
Yeah.
So, there's a symbol actually from flatter than a pancake on this bottle cap from this Lone Star. And I actually figured out what it was, the one symbol holding us up. And I figured what it is figured out what it is, and I figured it out on this bottle cap because it repeats.
Let me see.
I'll tell you off air. Hold on one second. Let me pitch it. And then so yeah, man, but people are answering, people are tweeting back, so get in on the fun, get in on the action. If you're listening to this, it's up on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at Justin Golak. Look for the bottle caps. There's a riddle under every Lone Star beer bottle cap. I'll post a picture of it on Twitter, and you can try to figure it out. There you go. Check it out. What do you think? Do you know what it is? Don't say it out loud. Excuse me. Oh, I have to.
You need to fodder.
I have to fodder. While Jackie's thinking, do you hear her thinking?
Yes, I got it.
Oh, you got it? You're just saying you got it because it was taking too much time. You're like, oh, yeah, I got it.
Maybe.
Yeah, I got it.
I got the last word.
I won't say it out loud to ruin it, but
I got
got
the
it.
last word.
It's totally like one of those kids.
Oh, I've heard that band.
What's a dildo?
Yeah.
I know, but if you don't know, I'm not going to tell you. With me, as always, the smart but sleepy, but still amazing co-host.
Hi.
She is a feminist, and she is Jackie Manty. Jackie, what are you sipping on?
I'm sipping on a LaCroix.
Oh, she's a little LaCroix boy.
I'm a LaCroix boy today. I thought I had another pop in there.
I drank it.
But Justin drank it. It's okay. Remember when I drank your butterscotch root beer?
Oh, yeah.
So really we're even.
Why'd you bring that up? I was feeling all bad, and now I just feel justified.
You should still feel guilty for
No,
being
you shouldn't
yourself.
have brought it up. For being a little fat boy that needs little sweet treats.
Ooh,
Ooh,
sweet treat.
a fuzzy little sweet treat.
I
Ooh,
love
what
how
would make this
when
dinner
I
better?
asked
A
you
little
about it,
sweet treat.
you were like, it had just been sitting in there so long. like you
I mean,
like you needed to keep the sugar company.
well, I just was like, well, I think if she was going to use this for a beverage, she would have used it by now. So it's probably just free in the fridge for sipping on.
This pop needs sip
I think
down.
I got tacos or something. I think that was why.
Was it good? What was it? The grape one?
It was the grape one.
Oh.
It wasn't really for all the craft sodas we got. It was
Yeah.
it was good, but it was probably the most disappointing in terms of it was no better than like a Welch's grape soda.
Okay.
Whereas that butterscotch root beer and even
That
the
was, like,
regular root beer,
amazing.
even the regular root beer was like great root beer. And then like we had like I think just like a regular Mexican Coke, which is always great. This one was like, yeah, a regular canned soda with corn syrup would have probably tasted just as good. But it was still tasty.
Good. I'm glad I hit the spot for you.
Yeah, it was really good. All right, let's do a little bit of house cleaning.
Sure.
Housekeeping.
Okay.
I don't know. I said cleaning.
Because
Housekeeping.
you need to get on your.
Whatever. I keep this
husbandly
house
duties and
sparkling
clean the house.
clean. I keep it beautiful.
I wish you dusted more. You dust like weird things.
Well, I think dusting's stupid because everything just gets dusty again.
Oh my God.
It's like the only thing I hate doing. I'll literally do anything else but dusting.
I know. Well, then the house
I do
doesn't
it every
really
once in a-
feel clean.
I'll do it
because
every
you're
once
not
in a while.
dusting.
I'll do it every once in a
You
while.
need to dust, babe.
Okay. So let's do some housekeeping. So, as you guys know, Low Class has a Patreon page. So that's for this podcast, for my albums, for my specials, for all Jackie's writing on her blog and Mildly Depressed,
And
her
my upcoming
podcast,
book.
her upcoming book. Well, they
Yeah.
wouldn't be paying for that yet because it's not available.
I know. We're just saying. They're
Look, you
supporting my
can
lifestyle.
plug that when it's time to do that housekeeping. Different housekeeping. We all get it, Jackie. You're writing a book. We're all excited for you.
I'm writing a book and I do CrossFit.
Ugh. You'd have like the worst Tinder profile if you were still single. I'm a writer. I'm working on my book.
For 10 years.
Also, here's my tits because I know you're not reading this. Hashtag Tinder. All right, so yeah, we have a Patreon, and we plug it on this podcast. But like I said, it's the low class Patreon, so it funds literally everything me and little Jackie Manti do, creating words, sounds, video, live shows. Everything we do is supported under the low class brand. And if you like one, two, all, some, most of the things we do, that's the best way you can support it. Because as you know, with low class, everything we do digital, we put out for free. It's like the public radio model, right?
Yeah.
If you want it, please listen to it. We'd rather the information, the entertainment, the joy get into your ears. We don't want a price barrier, but recognize it costs money and time to produce it. So if you have a little sitting around and you want to help, send it over.
It's like instead of support your local artists, support your low class artists.
Nice. That actually works really good.
Thanks, babe.
It's almost like you work in advertising. Yeah, so I mean that's really what it is. That to me, even though it's like Patreon, what's Patreon? What's that? And like, and what we do with low class with releasing everything free digitally, and then just hoping for support from the community. Like I said, it's a model that's new because Patreon's new and because digital distribution is kind of new. The way it's accessible to people more than it ever has been. Like it's all new, but like I said, to me, again, like the way to describe it is a very basic model that's been around for years, which again is just like was supported by viewers like you. You know what I mean? Like that's how it works, like please listen to it for free. Please take it in. That's why we want you to have it. But if you can support, it helps out. And we have our own updated version of tote bags, right? The classic PBS tote bag. We have those, except we have it in the form of merch. CDs from me. I have a 3 CD pack. It has all 3 albums, and actually, it's the only way you can get a hard copy of American Apathy.
That's cool.
The only printing of American Apathy is the 3rd CD in that 3 CD pack that you can get for a small donation. You can get that along with the koozie. Jackie will make you original embroidered artwork, like the artwork featured on Mildly Depressed. You can give a topic to this podcast, and we will talk about it. You'll be featured on the show. At lower levels, you get some stickers and some patches. Post those up, put them on your clothes.
Dope.
As it says in the description of those patches and stickers, customize and vandalize. Do whatever you want with your patches and stickers. Have fun with them, or for $1, you can just support us. Just say, here's $1. Thanks for what you do. And to thank you for what you guys do at every level. So some level you get physical goods, but at every level, whether it's $1 or more, and there's tons of levels with tons of different merch and benefits and whatnot, but every level from the lowest level to the top, you get access to our patron-only Patreon feed, which has bonus episodes. We have 2 up there already, and what do we got? Oh, that was a horrible drum roll.
Yeah.
I was just smashing it.
I was like, what?
Hold on, let me try.
There it is.
It was so bad the first time. I'm embarrassed. You're not much better. That makes me feel better. We don't have the drummer quickness.
Yeah.
All right, but we have another bonus episode dropping this week. This Friday, another bonus episode dropping. So that's our 3rd total, our 2nd of this year. And as you know, we'll be putting up 6 total this year. Minimum. We might do an extra 1 or 2. I don't know. But at least 6. The next one's coming up this Friday. So no better time to become a patron than now, because you can get access to the bonus feed, which is getting some bonus content ASAP. And we also have, what's it called? Goals. So if you're like,
What's it called? What are those things called?
What are those things called? I think some people have them. Goals.
You like set them and then you try to get them. I don't know. I'm going to take a nap.
But, yeah, if you're like 6 episodes, that doesn't sound like a ton. Well, become a patron, tell a friend, share it on your social media. And if we get 100 patrons, we will literally double that content. We'll do 12 episodes this year and all years going forward. We'll bump it from 6 to 12. We get more people listening, you'll get more of us chatting at you.
Yep.
And then, once we get to 100, I assume we'll set another goal for 200 and 300. So more stuff, the bigger we grow. Everything helps. Was that a good pitch?
So good.
Bonus episode coming up this Friday. Oh, and I guess I should say, I don't know if you've visited the Patreon page before at all. We've updated some of the levels. I think one thing is a little cheaper. We have one option where you can literally get all our things offered at what I think is a very like it's way cheaper than if you got all the levels separate. You can get this one level, which is the I Want It All level, and you literally get everything we offer. So we added that. One thing I think got cheaper, and we added another small level right above the dollar level. So it's literally just $2, just above the dollar level, but you get a little bit of stuff. So we got another little small timer levels for people that are like, $1. I don't want to go up to $5, but $1. I want a cool thing. So we got the $2 level. You get some cool things, and you don't have to put up a bunch. And then for those big spenders that are like, I just can't decide. All this stuff sounds so cool. Just get it all, baby. And it's not even that much. It's cheaper than even if you bought the stuff from us at a show, which is mostly where we're selling physical stuff. It's even cheaper than that. And it helps, and it's great. And that's the pitch. And I can tell Jackie is ready to talk topics. So let's get into
Thanks
it.
for doing that, though. I think that was important work, and I forgive you for not dusting.
Okay, thank you. This is how I support the family. With good pitches on the pod.
Your verbose.
And I guess
is verbosity a word? Your
verbose, right?
Your verboseness.
Your verbosity.
Yeah, but like, how would
verbosity
you turn
sounds pretty tight.
Yeah.
I like that word. I'm going to use it in an essay sometime. I
My
like using made-up words.
verbosity.
That's my thing. I don't know if you do that as much.
You say it so confidently that I think people think they're real. That's always key. Just confidence.
Life is confidence,
I
baby.
know.
And I should say the most important thing, I
Womp
should have
womp.
said it up top. Patreon.com/low class, L-O no dash class. Don't
And how do you spell Patreon?
Patreon.com/LO
.com/LO class.
LO class, no dash on this one, baby.
Support your low class artists.
Support, man. Give us that buck.
And thank you
We'll
to those
give you
who do.
some.
You guys are amazing.
We got another
Fucking
Patreon
awesome.
recently. Or another Patreon. I always fuck that. We
I
got another
know.
patron on Patreon.
You not only always fuck it up, then you say, I always fuck that up.
I know. That's part of it now. Now it's like my catchphrase. I always fuck that up. Let's put it on a t-shirt. Put that at another level.
Justin Gold.
For at the new $12 level, you get a t-shirt that says, I always fuck that up.
Always fuck that up.
Patreon.com. So yeah, man, we got another patron. Subscribed at the $10 level, which is still available. Get some merch. And now, like I said, now because we're offering stickers, I think you get some stickers. Let me check that before I promise that. Jackie, vamp for a little bit. Literally like 10
The
seconds.
stickers are cool, man. I put some stickers recently in a bathroom.
Oh, nice.
When you're taking a poo, just get
Like a
some
little
stickers out
punk
and,
rock bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me just say what this is. Yeah, you get two stickers, a patch, plus my merch kit, which includes the 3 CDs, one of which it's my most recent American Apathy. It's the only way you can get a hard copy of it is through this, and there's a limited amount. There's literally like less than 100 of these in circulation. I'll be selling them at shows and on the Patreon page. It's the only way to get them. And you get the most important thing at the $10 level.
What's that?
This is really the most important part of the $10 level. That's the add-on. That's just like you get this too. You can get the merch at the $5 level. You can get the stickers and the patch at the $2 level. Those are available if you just want to spend $5 or $2. You can get the merch. You can get the patches and the stickers. But why would you do $10 when you can get all that stuff at $2 or $5? I mean, at $5 you get the merch
Why?
plus the stickers. There's got to be something. Someone just extra nice? Someone just want to contribute an extra $5? No, because there's one additional, most important benefit, and that is you get to suggest a topic for FemComPod.
I think you're leading up to something.
So our first topic
Yeah.
today
Yeah.
is contributed by a patron.
Woohoo.
Our patron, Doug.
Doug.
Thank you, Doug.
You're awesome, Doug.
Thank you for contributing to the pod. And remember, this level and some of the other levels that have like physical goods attached, there's a limited number of spots available. Meaning, like once we get a certain amount of patrons at that donation amount,
Mm-hmm.
you can't get it anymore. So
save your spot.
So don't just think that, you can all get on at any time and just take over this podcast with your ideas. We got our own crazy ideas. So this is a special privilege. There's a limited amount, and we got our first spot taken, and we are happy to discuss Doug's topic. So that's what we're going to get
Yeah.
into for topic one.
Awesome.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
FemComPod.com and LO-class.com just to finish up those plugs, but we'll make them quick since you listen to the Patreon spiel. Okay, so Doug wanted us to watch a documentary film and discuss it, and I think it is a great pick.
Totally.
Because I think there's a lot of stuff to talk about in it, so we'll discuss that now. So there was a movie that came out in 2000. Well, let's see. It premiered in 2016, but then it was released on DVD early 2017. So recently, let's just say recently, within the last year or so,
Sure.
this movie came out. It was called The Red Pill. It is a documentary film directed by Cassie J. Cassie J is a documentary. She was a former actress. I don't know, maybe she still acts. Former actress, or I guess you just call them actors now, right? Female actor, male
I think
actor.
You can still say
There's
actress.
no actresses anymore. Anyways, well, as you see the topic we're going to get into, I want to make sure. I want to be very, very on point.
I think actor. I don't know.
Well, anyway, so she was a professional actor. And I said she still might be. I actually don't know. But she talks in the film that she's transitioned more into documentary filmmaking.
Yeah.
So she's done movies about marriage equality, about women's rights in the workplace. And now she wanted to do a film.
Like single moms.
Yeah. And now she wanted to do a film about the men's rights movement, MRAs as they're known. So basically, Casey J is a woman, a filmmaker, considers herself a feminist.
What does the A stand for? Men's rights
Did I say
advocate? You said movement. I'm just wondering what MRA stands for.
Men's rights activist, right?
Activist. Okay.
Oh yeah, I guess I said the
No,
thing.
that's cool. I just wondered.
I guess I said them back to back.
Men-
Men's rights activists are the people. Men's rights movements is the movement.
Men's rights.
It's like a
asshole. No, I'm just
feminist
kidding.
and feminism,
Yeah,
just part of speech.
got it.
Same people. So anyway, yeah, she's a feminist that wanted to learn about the men's rights movement. So she ventured into it, interviewed people, also interviewed
Yeah.
feminists in the film as
Yeah,
well, like got
mhm.
both sides. And so the film The Red Pill, which is on Hulu, it might be on Netflix. I'm not sure. We watched it on Hulu, so I did not check, but it's
Mhm.
pretty accessible. I know more people probably have Netflix than Hulu, but I feel like most people would be able to access this movie for
One or the other.
not free, but like free if you are already paying
Sure.
the subscription. No additional charge. You don't have to rent it or whatever. So I think, let's just say this, just purely binary, no discussion. I would recommend this as a watch. Would you recommend it as a watch?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we'll just get into kind of. I guess we won't dissect the film bit by bit, just more like the ideas it brings up.
Yeah. And like high points of things that
yeah.
you came away with or that you
Totally.
thought about when you were
So,
watching it.
yeah, so just less of a movie review, more of like a
Yeah.
launching pad for discussion.
Okay.
But yeah, everyone should go see it. It's worth to see. Like I said, it is one of those movies. I think it does what a documentary is supposed to do. Like it's a see. I'm saying see it, and the first thing is like, why you want me to be an MRA, or does it take down the MRA? It's like, no, it literally should do what a documentary does, which is like we're doing it now because we're on a show, but we did it, and you would do it in real life, which is like you'll discuss it. You'll agree with some stuff, you'll disagree with other stuff. You'll be like, that guy said some good things. That guy seemed like a real douche toad. So you know what I mean? Like,
no, there's such a fear of like
But
being
you'll-
educated on
yeah.
just the opposite idea or the just learning about something that you feel so viscerally negative about. You still should probably learn about that thing, right? Like
For sure.
I feel like there was, even I was like, oh no, I've heard of that movie. I'm kind of afraid to watch it.
Right.
Just because of like, I'd read about like about it on feminist sites and them kind of bashing it or just saying like, no, she loses her feminism because they brainwashed her. Like, which is so not accurate at all. And like, I knew that too. Like, take all that with a grain of salt.
Totally. Well,
But yeah, like I feel like even because I didn't walk away with the same conclusion. She doesn't become an MRA like a honey badger, which is the female version of an MRA activist. But she
Yeah.
does say at the end that she doesn't call herself a feminist anymore. Now, listen,
Right.
I still call myself a feminist, but I feel like that this documentary definitely impacted me and made me look at some things in a new way.
Right.
That's the whole point of educating yourself,
and
right?
I guess she doesn't say it. She doesn't say it explicitly in the film, but I know I've seen interviews with her post film,
Yeah.
and she makes it clear that she is still invested in and advocates for women's issues,
Yeah.
LGBT
Awesome.
issues. She just doesn't call herself a
And I
feminist.
think that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, it's like, and again, I we talked about this before, where it's like, I would not only would it seem odd, but it would just strike me as kind of hacky if like the last 30 seconds of the film were her like, I renounce feminism and now I am a member
Totally.
of a new movement. It would be like,
Well, now you give up
okay,
one dogma for
yeah, like
another.
it's
Sure.
weird. But
Yeah.
so I think she had a really like even-handed approach where she's
Mhm.
like, I'm still believing in what I believe in. I just think that the brand this movement has taken on is not the all-encompassing thing I want out of kind of my social movement.
Yeah.
So I'm going to drop the banner, but I'm not going to drop my beliefs.
Yeah.
If anything, I'm just expanding my beliefs to include other beliefs,
Totally.
but I'm not like getting rid of any of my old ones. I'm just kind of widening the tent, as they say.
Right. It just felt like a more thoughtful, like, I'm just not using a title right now, which is great, I think.
Yeah.
Especially as we get further down this like
Me and
path of being
feminism don't
like
have
being
labels.
down this path of like, well, I'm a feminist, so I wouldn't watch a documentary about the MRA. Like, so it's not helping anything.
Right. And that's probably what she's trying to
And
avoid.
and on the other extreme, the MRA, like I wouldn't watch anything by a woman. Like there are extremes of both sides, right?
Right.
But yeah.
I mean,
What,
I would
do you want me to talk about like what I felt about it, or
sure, yeah, why don't you
okay?
start? Yeah, go ahead.
Well,
I know you actually have notes. So
yeah, I took some
we'll
notes.
go we'll go with the student.
Well, I feel like I've always been, and I think we've touched on this before, but I've always believed that feminism, what I love about it is really what I think of feminism is what the definition of humanism technically is like I believe in equality because I think that helps men and women, right? Like I think a lot of women, especially American white women, become feminists when they get out of high school because they've experienced a lot of bullshit in high school. And that stuff, like, I mean, it was kind of only just barely talked about at the beginning, but like the Steubenville rape case, right? Um, I grew up in a community where something like that easily could have happened. Probably did happen, just didn't receive,
Just
but
Twitter
weren't
wasn't around.
videos,
Yeah.
right? And like,
Fucking flip phones.
that's but honestly, I as much pain as that attitude toward girls and women has hurt me personally, I also recognize that those boys are hurting too, right? And like that is learned behavior.
I mean,
They're
you're right.
16,
Totally.
17, 18 years old. That they are learning that from coaches, from the community, from just a general attitude that women are for sex, or like just I just remember grown men treating high school girls like sex object. It's weird. And
Yeah.
so anyway, so I just think this is a very learned behavior. And to me, feminism changes that for so men can cry so they don't have to be objects of productivity, right? It's like redefining these things so it helps all of us, right? I remember in college, I was talking to a really good friend of mine, and she she started yelling at me, like lovingly, but like was so angry when I said something to that effect, where I was like, I think men have it really hard sometimes too. And she was so furious, like couldn't believe I could say that. And I was like, you can't convince me otherwise. Like, to me, it's just like we are human beings, and it fucking sucks for. It's the same. Like, haven't we seen enough after school specials of like it's hard for the rich kid too? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
like yes, there
The
are.
bully's probably getting bullied too. That's
There
why he acts like that.
right,
Yeah.
right, and there are nuances and ranges of pain and privilege, and what each person suffers. But you can't like this attitude of like well, my suffering is much deeper than yours doesn't help anything, and it's not productive. But so I've always believed that feminism can help both, and that's why watching this, I was like, we feminists, we need to. It's not even that I don't want to not call myself a feminist anymore. It's that I think that feminists like me who believe that, and like Cassie, need to step up and say to that, like the big red type of radical feminists, that like stop it.
You're not
Like,
making it better.
not making it better. You're not helping anyone in this. You're just adding to the fury. Like, there are good, valid points in here about how, we have to listen to each other. That's the only way we make steps is together. And that's how I felt. I did feel, though, like, speaking of that big red feminist lady, it was weird that she interviewed her privately. I felt like there was this overall, I thought it really changed my mind about how I will now think of the MRA movement and men's rights movement, and I'll get into that further in a second. But I did think her interviewing was a little skewed as far as like she did interview Catherine Spiller and some gender studies professors, but I felt it was weird that she then interviewed this like monster
See,
feminist.
I didn't
You
think it
know,
was that
but
weird.
they
The
didn't.
reason,
Hold on, can I finish? They didn't interview. I'll big red on you. Shut the fuck up. Oh my god, what a monster. She was such a monster person.
yeah,
But
but
hold on. I feel like they didn't get an extreme version of that on the MRA side, and those people do exist. So if you were
true.
going to be
But
fair,
I
like I
think
didn't.
I think what that interview was to do, and why I like that she included that interview,
Yeah.
is because she only showed footage to start. She only showed footage of that big red lady at a rally, which is obviously always going to be heightened.
Okay,
And she
so she wanted
does,
to give her a chance.
and she does look like a monster. But
Yeah.
I think she was kind of trying to say like, all right, well, you're at a rally and tensions are high and everything's going on. Let's just one-on-one talk and like, what do you have to say about stuff? And she still was.
She was
fucking
also
cra-
a monster.
Also, you know what? I think she's honestly more the embodiment of. I don't even honestly. I wouldn't even, just being super, super fair, I wouldn't even count anything she says, good or bad, against feminism. You know what I mean?
No, I just do you understand what I'm saying? That they
Yes,
didn't
but
show
let
the
me-
extreme of the other
Totally,
side.
but let me
Okay.
finish. But my point is like, I think she's the worst example of a lot of what happens in activism today
Mm.
because it's such
Not
a
just
hip thing
feminist
to do.
activism. Okay.
Because how old did she look? I mean, she's got to be late 20s, early 30s. I'm saying late 20s.
Oh, I
nice.
thought like mid-30s.
Okay, so and I was just being nice. If you say
Okay.
that, I'll agree mid 30s.
Yeah.
Now she asks her like, "How long have you been a part of this?"
She said 3
and
years.
she's like, "I really got into feminism
Mm-hmm.
about 3 years ago." So
Yeah.
I go, "This is clearly a woman who tried candle making, tried selling Sensies, tried having pampered chef parties."
No.
Let me fucking finish. You
Oh,
know,
you sound like her.
just you know what I mean. Just like just has done a lot of things for 3 years, kind of used her kind of bravado to push her to a plateau, but then kind of, just kind of, rubs people the wrong way or kind of gets bored with it herself or realizes that she's kind of used kind of charisma and bravado to push herself to a plateau, but her lack in kind of like tangible skill set is not going to elevate her further. Like she's never going to, be an executive at the Pampered Chef, and all the people that threw parties a year ago, they're not re-upping because she was kind of intolerable at the first one, even though she sold a lot of spatulas. And the same thing, like, you could see these women, even the more kind of infuriating women at these kind of events, like, they there's no way they like her. They think that she is kind of a bad name for them. And the same thing, it's like you're 3 years into this and you already have dyed, like crimson red hair and you call yourself Big Red. That's you. You call yourself that. No one gave you that nickname. It's not like you're like, I'm Amy. And then just after 5 rallies, someone's like, you're real big. You're like Big Red with your red hair. You know what I mean? Like it's a brand that she's cultivated. And she was just like, this is hot right now. Feminism's hot right now. Let's see if I can sell these people some spatulas. You know what I mean?
Well, and it's so I think yeah, I totally get it. And to that point, I think that there has been this like now that we have a voice, and I do feel like feminists are being listened to. It is really hot. It's so hot right now. But like I feel like there's this she reminded me of this thing that I hate in the movement of this like slogan, boys tears, and then they put it on mugs, and like I get like little ads on my Instagram of like buy this feminist stuff, and it's like I swipe through and it's like boys tears on a mug, and I'm just like, this is gross. You guys suck. Like, you way to take something and like 180 it and make it bad. Like, I know men have hurt you, boys have hurt, but like I think that's too far. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay,
But also, isn't it
you're
like?
gonna make boys cry. Like,
But also, is
I
it the
hate
idea that
I hate it. They're just selling.
But it's more like, is that the idea? If men cry, you win.
Yeah.
Aren't they? isn't it better if we teach men to have a complex set of emotions?
And
Isn't that what we're fighting
isn't that
for?
what we were fighting for? Right. And it's not, and that's not, that's a really funny way to spin it of like, no, we're saying cry into my mug.
Yeah.
You can be, I know, but like,
Please.
right. Like
So again,
it's
if
in
you were
fact
trying
the
to,
opposite.
but that's my point. If you're trying to be cunty but still be right, it would be more like productive to have a mug that said like men's rage. I drink it all day. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like your rage doesn't hurt
Yeah,
me.
but like exactly. I
You're
mean, you
really
just
just
nailed it. The
sad.
like it's creating the opposite effect and
But
saying
that's
the
the
opposite
point.
of
Like
what
that's the
I
point.
think we
Those
should be trying to
women.
do.
That's my point, though. Is like I'm not sitting here trying to attack feminism. I don't think I ever am on this podcast. That's kind of the thing. It's about attacking phoniness because someone like Big Red, we could attack feminism and say she doesn't care about men. We could attack the people with the boys' tears mugs and say they don't give a fuck about men. That would be true. But you know what is also true? That they don't give a fuck about women. They give a fuck about their Instagram account,
Themselves.
and the
Yeah.
smarter ones give a fuck about their bank account. But that's it. That's all they give a fuck about. They don't give a fuck about women. They give a fuck about them, and they just happen to be one.
But that's okay. So talking about the marketing of it, right, and just all these products and things that say like boys' tears as an example. But I feel so that's one. I wanted to get into that for a second, where I feel like I don't think that men. It's not a battle of who has it harder, right? Like I think that there are issues that these men bring up that I think are very important and should be feminist issues too. Do you know what I mean? Like we are losing allies because we are like, no, you're wrong. Shut the fuck up. Like these are potential allies, and it helps families, which helps women too, right? But like I understand what they're saying of that women, what they mean by when they say like women have power right now and we're hurting the boys. Such a weird way to put it, but I have a niece and a nephew, they're around the same age, in grade school, and I think
So
about
wait, and they're both about like what
fourth
age?
and second grade.
Okay.
I think even me, I buy my little niece books about strong women. I buy her t-shirts that say girl power. I feel like and that's awesome. Like I think it's really cool. Like that feels such an
And that's the thing. She should have that.
right.
We're not going to take that away.
Not gonna take that away.
And I think
But I don't.
the MRA seemed like they, at least the saner ones, seemed like they don't want to take that away
Yeah.
either.
And again, I'm not buying her a boys' tears thing the same as way I'm not gonna buy a little boy shirt that says like kick her to tell her you like her. I don't know, but like my nephew, I don't buy him anything like that. Like I'm just like, hey buddy, what,
Okay.
cool,
Pokemon?
or like, hey, don't be a dick. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like, and I just think about I've kind of been like, wow, maybe I should like think about if you were a little boy seeing girls getting fed that constantly, but you weren't getting anything in return, and you don't have the like years of knowledge and understanding and backlog of pain to understand why the little girls are getting that versus you, and all you see is them getting the shirts that say girl power, girls win, the future is female. Don't you think that would, I just see how that could have an effect on a child, regardless if it's a boy or a girl, you know? So it makes me want to support both of them a little differently than I think I am right now. And again, that just with that language, it's not like I'm not gonna not tell my niece that like girl power, hell yeah, like women are strong, like, but I'm gonna make more of an effort to make it like actually helpful, like, hey, here's how to stand up for yourself, or here, you know, versus like just wear a shirt that says girl power, you know, and then like talk to, you know, it's a communication with the children, I guess. But anyway, so I feel like that is a valid point, and that I think that school, you know, there is we do treat boys differently, try to give them drugs to calm them down, and the learning style, I mean, that's been proven in studies that like the learning style that we have in schools now is better, like girls are just better equipped for it. And like, so I get what they're saying. I don't think I'd call it a war on boys, but I do think that we are sometimes, when you're trying to fix things, you can overcorrect, and we overcorrect a little bit, and that I don't want little boys to get lost now, you know. And like we're having such a discussion on that on a national level right now too, of like you know, straight white men being angry and using Their
But
anger.
that's the problem, right?
Okay.
That's the problem. The problem is this. The problem is everyone in this documentary is the problem. The filmmaker Casey J, and especially like we said, the very deft way she ended it, that's the solution. The solution is you don't go from feminist to MRA, or you don't become an MRA as a reaction to feminism.
Hmm.
Because the problem with feminism, and again, it's not exclusive to feminism, but it's what she didn't point it out explicitly, but she basically pointed it out by saying like, I'm not losing my beliefs, I'm losing this label.
Yeah.
She's saying like, I still believe in God, but I'm done with the Catholic Church.
Hmm.
That's what she's
It's like
saying.
that.
And she's also saying, and I'm going to also open up my ears to people of other faiths and to non-believers, and just to kind of, I'm going to try to get that's what she's doing kind of with this social issue. Because like, again, like, do the MRA people bring up some points that make sense? Totally. Do a lot of them seem kind of even keeled and even handed and not like just some crazy misogynistic psychos? Totally. A lot of them seem normal. So, like we said during the film, we're like, some of these guys seem a little loony, but honestly, the majority of the ones at least featured, both the men and the women of the movement, seem just like normal people that have gripes based on statistics, based on personal experience, and all they want is equality. They don't want more. They don't want less. Um,
Well, they want to express it without being told to be told to shut the fuck up, right?
Totally,
Or
but
being
I still,
demonized
and
in
I
a way.
know in this country, the only way that you think you can do that is to join a bunch of groups of people that feel the same way, and then put a label on you, and then find the label that's the opposite, and then you find an issue, and one side takes one, and one side takes the other, and you just fight until the end of time, and no one's happy.
Yeah.
I know that's how we do things in this shitty fucking country, but the point is like, no, you gotta just look at the statistics, address things logically, and then give solutions that help the most people most of the time. That's what you got to do. And I feel like that's why I think she got it. The way she ended the document, she gets that now. I think she realizes, because again, she didn't become an MRA. She realized that feminism, again, as a dogmatic institution, is wrong. Some of the, just like the MRA, some of the ideas they bring up are great, are still great, were great, will continue to be needed in the future. But that label is fucking toxic. And I think the
Yeah.
fact that she just dropped it, she didn't adopt theirs, shows that she thinks the same thing about them, which is MRAs. Bring up some interesting points, show some interesting
When
statistics, fight for some righteous people, but the label you put on yourself is and always will be toxic. It's the label itself, it's the branding,
it's
it's
any
the
label,
group think.
right? Like
Exactly.
any label, because then you feel this pressure to, like I said, I mean, me like not wanting to really watch it because the feminist blog I read said it was it was bullshit, and like
But the
so then
point is, you
you start
shouldn't,
listening.
even though it's less immediately hurtful. You also shouldn't watch it because you got an email saying like, "Hey, fellow MRAers, this is something you need to watch."
Right.
You should just absorb as much information as possible. And again, like, I just hate when people. I know I just said it, but I hate that general term. Uh, I know you have to use some gut. Like, we're all human beings. We're emotional and spiritual creatures, but we have to put our foot forward. We have to lead with. We can use the rest of the stuff, the emotions and the unspokenness. We can use that for the details, but for the mass changes, the laws, the way we operate, we need to use fucking facts. So again, when I'm talking about absorbing information, absorb facts. When you see a headline, don't read the story. Just Google that. Like, if it's bringing up something, it could be about earthquakes, it could be about children in poverty, it could be about black families, whatever it is. Look up the stats. There's so many stats on everything. See what the stats are. That will tell you 80 to 85% of the story. And then you use your feelings to clear up the other 15%. But that's really the information you should be taking in. And that's why I kind of like this documentary, because it had a lot of interviews, but it showed you a lot of stats and figures. And it didn't use a lot of like, here's the story of one person, and this should give you an insight into the whole problem. It did some stories, some anecdotal evidence, but it really showed a lot of facts when it said something happened, it would give a ton of examples of that happening, news coverage of those events to kind of quantify that statement. That's what we should be looking for.
I
And stats don't have a movement. They don't,
totally right. And I think that I also think it's important to watch the same way. I mean, I don't watch Fox News or any news really. I think I just listen to NPR. But I think it's important to see how what you think is so righteous can be spun in a way that is negative, whether it's like whether that is through, like, for example, Fox News turning what you think is really sacred into something they think is really destructive. It's just good to know how it can be spun, right? And I feel like the red pill, when there was like the protesting, and I was getting so furious at the feminists protesting outside lecture halls where it was like, just let them. So it was like what was the topic? Like, just made like intersexual discussion. Like, it was, I
yeah.
don't know. It that makes me angry when you are shutting down voices or shutting down people's right to just talk about what's happening to them or how they feel. That doesn't help at all, and it doesn't do
We
anything.
brought it up on this podcast before. If you go to a university, your access to public spaces for events is so easy. You know what I mean? Like, I remember at Ohio State, all you needed was like one professor as an advisor, and you could start a club. There was like literally, it was called like the Free Pizza Club, and once a week they would use like university money and buy a bunch of pizzas, and you could come and just eat the pizzas. That's all the club was. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'm just saying they have all after 6 p.m. all these classrooms, all these lecture halls, all these university spaces open up, and even though tuition is still way too high, they do give you a lot of stuff for free for it. Most people just don't take advantage of. So my point is, I'm sure 3 months in advance that whoever you hate is coming from whatever side of the aisle you sit on. Take those 3 months, find someone that feels the opposite way, book the lecture hall across the way, and instead of protesting outside of their event, start your own event, and just be like, hey, just invite people on social media, give them flyers, and be like, hey, I know you want to go to this, but this is better ideas. Check this out.
The protesting, it's like, you know what it reminded me of, when there was like when Big Red and that girl were just like they just wouldn't even let that guy talk. Or the one guy was trying to get into the lecture, and the woman was like is screaming in his face, calling him a rape apologist, and he
Yeah.
was like, "Can I just like go in where she's not yelling at me?" It reminded me of
Well, it's
like
worse.
how
She's like, how can you support this? And he's like,
I just want to hear different
He's like, I
ideas.
just want to hear ideas. Like, I don't. This isn't my idea set. I'm just
Right.
interested in it. And then she's like, but you paid for a ticket. Like, you're supporting it with your
Right.
money. You're supporting misogyny. You're supporting
You're
rape
a
culture.
rapist.
And I think he even said something again, not even like being shitty. Like, he was just trying to be honest. He said something like, I got a free ticket. Like,
Yeah,
something like,
yeah.
I think he may have said like, I'm a student. I don't remember. I thought he said something like,
Right.
I didn't pay for the ticket. Like,
And what I was gonna say though is like that reminded me of like when I hate about men fighting, like who's got a bigger dick. Like that's what those women were doing. Was
yeah.
like they're just whipping out their proverbial dick and like seeing who can scream louder. It's fucking stupid and embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
Plus,
And
to be honest, I always thought a rape apologist was just a polite rapist.
I'm so sorry.
Ugh.
I'm so sorry. It's the Louis C.K. approach.
I just
Was there
raped you, and I'm so
I'm
sorry.
so sorry. Was there anything? Because I had a few things that I wanted to just bring up. For people who have seen it, and like, was there anything that surprised you, or like things that the men's rights people were talking about that you hadn't really heard before, or were like,
No, not really.
I guess for me, you know,
The domestic abuse stuff a little bit. I know paternity and alimony has always
well,
been part of
that's
their
always a
issues.
thing. That's tricky. I agree. I think it's a woman's choice while it's all in her body. Like, that's all her.
Yeah,
As soon as it's born, though, yes, like, you've made the choice to have the baby. Now, you both, if he wants to be involved, you have to work it out and let him be involved, right? And I do think some of those stories are just horrendous. But the moment that really shocked me, of like having never thought about it before and just how violent and upsetting it was when the woman Susan, I don't know, she's a men's rights activist with a YouTube channel. She was talking in the bar about Boko Haram and when they kidnapped those girls. And there was like a nationwide movement in America of bring back our girls, and this campaign of like, this is so awful. They kidnapped these just hundreds of girls and women, right? And then she was talking about how months, years before, they had been murdering that same, the terrorist group had been murdering boys. Like they'd burned down a whole middle school full of like hundreds of teenage boys. And it just broke my heart that, like, you're right. Like, I wasn't paying any attention to that. And maybe because there was more media attention for the girls, but like, I heard about that and was like, this is awful. Instead of like again,
Karen Stroman.
Karen Stroman. Again,
Or
like
Strowan?
just thinking about how
Karen Stroman.
again, the like psychological effects of, because some of why I'm a feminist has been so subtle. Like, it's just been really subtle ways I have been told that my worth isn't as much as a man's. That's I get, if we're gonna allow that to be reasons why we're feminists, we have to allow men to like say, I see that and I think my life isn't of value. You know what I mean? Like, and just let that be, and then maybe try to be, I'm gonna try to pay a little more attention, or instead of like, the reporting, the language, like, yes, they were 100 girls, but like, instead of saying persons were killed in a building, like 100 teenage boys were murdered and burned alive. Like, that's awful. So I just think that was really interesting and something I could 100% get behind. And then, yeah, the domestic violence stuff, I think, is, again, like, so much I think of female violence comes from rage of society and patriarchy, like things that they have experienced bring on that rage and violence. So it's not like feminism is causing this, like, violence or something, but like, I think that
I don't think they
I know
say
that's
that
not what they're saying.
feminism
I know
is
that
a-
I know it's not what they're saying, but what I'm trying to get at is that I agree, like, we should have resources for abused men, totally, and male rape. Like, I think that and again, like, that's why I am not, I'm not gonna like give up feminism, because I feel like that's always been part of what I believe about it. And even, like, remember Gloria Steinem talks about, like, ending rape means ending rape for men too. Like, this is a focus of ours as well,
Well,
of
and
like in prison or children.
I think that the more reasonable speakers would say, like that one guy was the guy that used to be a feminist and then became like a men's rights guy.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Um, he was the most even keel, because even he said, he was like, the lady asked him, like, literally, like, what's the difference? Like, we seem to agree on a lot. What's the difference between men's rights and feminism? And he's like, literally, the only difference is that feminism believes that problems are caused by the patriarchy. Men, like, I don't think that that's true. I don't think that it exists. But literally,
Oh yeah, because he was like, this is capitalism, which is totally
well, but
fair.
he was like, literally, like, so, and so I think it was just interesting to just basically point out, like, yeah, women, everything you bring up, I recognize it as a problem, and so therefore I'd like to solve it. I just don't think that men are the sole reason why, or this power structure of maleness is the reason why. But we can fix those problems. I don't think you don't have problems. I just don't agree with your causation of those problems.
Right. Well, and yeah, like, maybe it's just, if you dug deeper down, why do we have the patriarchy? Or so one guy kept saying patriarchy. I was like, it's patriarchy. It's capitalism. What
Maybe he's like
how do
Canadian
we
or something.
these class issues? Like, how is that affecting the way?
But that's not ever addressed, Jackie, and it's never going to be addressed.
That's
You
too
just want
bad.
you just want more women dumping toxic waste into our rivers. You want more women presidents to brown
Me?
the
You?
poor
Are
brown
you
people.
youing me?
I'm just saying,
Oh,
like,
okay.
modern feminism. That's all it is. There's no addressing of class, or even especially in the United States. There's no addressing of United States imperialism. There's no addressing of it. Like I said, hey, there's a female CEO of HP now. So now we got a woman using fucking conflict minerals to make computer parts.
That is weird.
Yay.
That's such a like.
Oh, a female president. Oh, now
all of-
she's going to use illegal drones to bomb countries we're not at war with. Yay!
Yeah.
Feminism worked.
I know, it is weird that that's like
you know what I mean?
that's the
So that's what I
that's like the
mean.
litmus test of like.
So I mean, I just don't, when you talk about we need to break the system. What are you breaking? You're just inserting yourself into the system. And moreover, the people, it's not even like you're not getting, I mean, you're getting people with vaginas into those positions, but you're not getting better people. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
they're adhering to the same criteria, the same awful criteria that netted people those positions for years. Like we've always been rewarding literal psychopaths in this country and in the world at large, but let's stick it here. We've been rewarding psychopathic behavior for forever since the beginning of time.
Through
If you
business,
could,
you mean?
yeah, whether you could kill the most Native Americans, all the way until can you drive up the profit margins a penny by fucking dumping chemicals in India. Either way, we've just been supporting psychopathic behavior
Yeah.
for the benefit of shareholders forever. And now we just say, women, if you're willing to do that, you can have power every once in a while. And then literally everyone goes, yay, we're fixing it. And it's
Right.
like you've literally fixed nothing. And so I just don't know how you can call it a patriarchy slash. I don't know how you can say you're dismantling it if those evil traits again, like let's fine, we'll give you the benefit of all those evil traits I'm describing. They are solely male and they're institutionalized by men, and they were institutionalized by men to give men the best chance of succeeding. Okay, fine, but you're still just now adopting those characteristics as women to get those same positions. So how have you fixed anything or made anything better?
Right. No, I know.
You're just making the women who
yeah.
get it evil, and then the women below them are just as punished for being below that power structure as they have been for their entire lives. I don't know. The last thing I'll say, we got to move on, but the last thing I'll say is, yeah, it was good. It's good. Everyone just fucking watch it,
And
man.
you know, and to because I feel like a lot of my trepidation came from the violence of a lot of these sites, right? Or the discussions, and they bring up the one like the Elam guy who wrote about or like hit a violent bitch month or something, how it was a reaction to a Jezebel article, and like again, like that's not saying that was right. He shouldn't have written that piece, but like that's some background knowledge that is important to know.
Yeah, it's always gonna be
right?
it's always gonna be misreported.
Yeah.
Don't trust your media. That's not Donald Trump, because I'm not gonna pick out specific media that doesn't agree with me. Don't believe any
Just
of it.
be smart.
Don't believe
about,
any of it.
Like you said, like look
You
up
don't
stats,
need it.
look
You
up
don't
facts.
need it. Anything you want to know, you can Google. You can Google
Yeah,
the
but you would
raw
be
data.
reading it on a news site,
But
Justin.
no, you can go to these sites like they pulled stats in the movie, and if you looked at the attribution about the screen, it's like CDC.
Oh, so be your own reporter.
Be your own reporter, because
Mm-hmm.
that was the job, right? The job was, if you wanted a CDC stat, you had to fucking call them on the phone, and you had to fucking get it and then jot it down on a note card and then take it to the printing press, and then you had to sell it to 10 cents to people walking to their fucking job. Now you can just be like, how many times does this
That is
happen?
funny.
And you can go to the
Funny because,
site that
it's
has
totally
that
true.
information.
The stats, and then part of the job was to get opinions and to show both sides. Well, now you just log on fucking Facebook or read the comments or get on Twitter.
You're like,
and
this
like,
is
you
what my
say,
friend
okay.
Jill thinks. This is what my aunt Janet thinks. And here's the stats. Let's mix that up in a blender. And now here's the pretty correct opinion. Everyone should be able to have the right opinion. We should be arguing, again, about like 15% of each issue. But 85% of each issue, we should all just agree on based on just the cold, hard reality of the situation. And then we should just argue the fucking window dressing. But we don't. And yeah, I would just say, yeah, I agree. There's nothing... the chance you have of getting me to ever call myself a feminist, you have an equally awful, almost non-existent chance of ever getting me to call myself a men's rights activist or support the men's rights movement.
Good.
So yeah, it again, I'm not gonna, again, it's dogma to dogma. KCJ is the only way to live, right? Renounce your
I
labels.
think it's Cassie.
Who gives a shit? She's just a woman.
Justin.
The fact that you don't know, I'm kidding. After you
It's
literally just went on
I
about
know,
we
but
need
too
context,
much.
like these articles needs context.
Dude,
I'm
too
the-
soon.
You're so ridiculous.
I don't like it.
I loved it. It was perfect. It was well timed, well delivered. But anyways, old CJ. That's a great fucking nickname because her last name is J, like J
That is
A Y
cool.
E.
Very androgynous.
So old CJ, she did a great job, and she's the only way to live, right? Drop your feminism label, but don't drop the beliefs. And men out there, drop your MRA label. Don't drop your passion for the things that affect you and people you know. but drop the fucking
I know,
label.
well,
It's a
no,
waste
it's
of
not
your
even
time.
the label. I'm
Group-
not going to drop
it
the
is the
label,
label.
Justin, but like get off of the fucking comment boards. Get off of the Facebook
That
echo
is the
chamber. Get
label.
off of that.
That is the label, though. It's all entrenched.
I mean,
Get off
it's-
the label.
It's entrenched in our
Think for yourself.
podcast title.
Think for yourself and think based off the fucking facts. You know what I mean? Like, drop the label. And
Are we going to rename the podcast?
no, because you won't get rid of the label. As soon as you do, we can rename it.
A Jackie and a comedian.
A free thinker and a comedian walk into a bar. It still works. Still get the same 20 people listening. No, she's the only. She did it right. And to me, honestly, because she's got a lot of press about this, just fucking. I know. Hey, it's Casey, whatever the fuck your name is. Listen to me, CJ. Do a red pill too. Get don't get one of don't get one of the figureheads on it because they'll be too entrenched. It's got to be someone like you who labels themselves but is kind of an outside observer of it. The way, not that she's an outside observer of feminism, but you know what I mean? She's just a person living her life considering herself a feminist. She's not like a leader in the movement or a mouthpiece for the
have the
movement.
talking points.
So my point is, don't get someone in the movement like that, but get someone that's from the boards, someone that ascribes to it, just like a foot soldier. Get one of those, call it the red pill too, and have him literally take the same journey as you, but into feminism. And I bet he'll have the same outcome. I bet he'll be like, I feel the same way about men. I want to work on this issue, and this issue. I will continue to fight for these things, but I no longer call myself an MRA. I'm just a man trying to make the world a better place. I guarantee you he would feel that way. And it would, to me, even though I think all the attacks against her are bullshit, again, if we're talking about facts, it would be a very just concrete way to show how bullshit all the attacks on her documentary are. Because I think everyone would have the same journey. I think if they looked at the other side with a long form, reasonable, information-based take on it, they would immediately drop their label, but not drop their beliefs, and just realize I want to keep everything I've always believed in. I haven't changed my mind on that. I just want to widen the tent. I just want to make things better, and that's the only way to do it. So props to the red pill.
I get what you're saying, and I agree with you, but I have just said that I would not call myself a feminist.
I know,
now,
and
so
that's
you
why
think I'm
if
dumb?
she is available, I will be leaving you for CJ. I'll hit you up on Twitter with my proposal of marriage.
Oh, cool. So she can guess at your bottle caps.
Yeah, she'd like it.
You're going to propose through a bottle cap? Make a little pictogram.
So jealous.
Cool.
So jealous.
You're quite a catch.
So jealous. So jealous.
I'm not giving you alimony. You didn't dust.
I love you, Cassie J.
Nah, she seems like a cool chick. I want to hang out with her too.
I'd love to hang. Let's try to get her on the pod.
I don't want to hang out with anybody else in the documentary, but
let's try to get her on the pod.
Okay.
Reach out to her on Twitter.
All right.
You're always good. You're better. You're better with other people. People don't tend to vibe with me.
No.
And I know it's all coming from. I know the common denominator is old Husteen. So all right, that is our talk on the red pill.
Good pick, Doug.
Good pick, Doug. Thanks,
That was
Doug,
fun.
for chipping in on topic 1. Let's breeze through 2 and 3 because we talked about that for a long ass
Yeah,
time.
no, that was cool. And I feel like topic 2 sort of it kind of extends into that naturally. So we've been watching The Handmaid's Tale on Hulu, and
This is like we should have got Hulu to sponsor this.
I know
episode.
season 2. We just watched episode 3, and a spoiler. Well, it's not even a spoiler. It's just a
Well,
scene.
we just gotta say
There's a
it
particular
real quick.
scene we want to talk
hold
about.
on, real quick. Let's pause.
What?
If you haven't seen episode 3 of season 2 yet, we're gonna spoil a chunk of it now. It's not gonna give a big plot detail.
We'll
but
give away
this
the
is just what you
ending.
got to do in 2018. I'm just saving you, Jackie. All right, you ready? You can fast forward about 20 minutes and catch topic 3. All right, go.
Okay. So she's running away, running. A guy, I don't know what he is, but like a helper guy.
He was supposed to take her to a point where
like
there was a plane, but the plane wasn't ready. But she was like, "Please take me somewhere," and he just takes her to his house.
Yes. Okay. So she's in his house. They live in this weird. It's where she could have been. These are the people who quote unquote went to the right church or went to like said all the right things.
Basically,
or,
they're people who aren't at the level to be like, part of the new government,
Of Gilead.
but they're still good Catholic people or Christian people, whatever. They never really reveal what the
what
religion
they
of these
are.
people are, but it's some sort of Jesus-based religion.
Right. And so
So
she
if you're a good Jesus person, you get to kind of live as like a
you don't have to be raped, but you're still like you're wearing dopey clothes and like you still have to say all
you're
the right
still
things. You
under
still
the
gotta
tyranny. You're just not being raped or being made to work in a nuclear dump site.
right.
But you're still just like a, you're like a, a pauper.
Yes. Totally. That's what they look like. But so the family, him and his wife and their child leave to go to church. And she's sort of like dicking around the house bored and someone's knocking on the door, so she runs and hides under the bed. Under the bed, she finds a book crammed into the underside of the bed in the springs. She pulls it out, and what's this? It's a Quran. And she throws
Dum
out
dum dum.
the prayer mat, and like it's supposed to be this moment symbolizing there's still rebellion happening, and also just this sadness of like these people not being able to express their freedom of religion, freedom of belief, freedom of speech. It's supposed to encompass all of that, right? I would like to talk about how fucking disappointing that scene was.
This whole season is disappointing. It's become, and that's why, like, when it had to be somewhat based off the book, which I have not read because I do not read, but I assume was good. It was a good show. It was a very good show. But now we're on season 2, which has no basis on the book because basically where season 1 ended, the book
Was the
kind
end of the
ended.
book? Yeah.
So now they're just kind of riffing on the characters and the story created by Margaret Atwood. So, and now it has gone completely off the rails into like, now I know the story. So keep in mind, I will watch this. And they do 8 seasons. I'll watch all 8. But it is complete, utter dog shit.
Well, because
now.
you don't have to again, like you don't have to not. Well, I mean, we're not gonna Roseanne it. Where like I just don't agree with this, so I'm not watching.
Oh
it
yeah,
ever
it's
again.
just
Yeah.
dog shit. It's a dog shit show. Now.
I don't think it's a dog shit show, but I want to talk about that particular scene because I was like so uncomfortable with it. One, because I thought that just was such a weird choice because Margaret Atwood, who wrote the book, has said that that book was a response to the religious right
Because she
in
put
the
it out
80s,
in the 80s, right?
right, and
Or in the
she
what do you know when it came
the
out?
80s.
Okay,
And
so it was that very specific Jerry Falwell style,
Right.
Ronald Reagan now putting it in public practice style
and
of
that's why
Christianity.
this is like under his eye. It's about God. It's about religion, women's rights, reproductive rights based around religion, right? And that's what she studied was like because she has always said like all of this that is taking place in Gilead has happened somewhere in the world at some point. It's just like this nightmare situation where it's all at once, right? And the book Handmaid's Tale is a warning against religious tyranny. That's what it is about. And so to see this moment where they could have, I mean, it's fucking based on a book. You should have had a book under there, like Fahrenheit.
Like I said,
like
the
something,
point
something.
is
But
the
hold
point
on.
is in this society. Well, you just said it. Let me riff on the fucking thing you just said. Yeah, it's like you said. Like the whole thing of this society is like you dress in gray, you go to work where we tell you there's armed guards at every corner.
You gotta be nice to
you
each other.
You can't say anything we don't want you to say. You can't do anything we don't want you to do. It's all Christianity all the time, and there's no television. You know what I mean? Yeah, there's no art. It's just this and very strict. So yes, you can get across the exact same message
With
if
a
she
porno.
pulls out she pulls out a Spider-Man comic book. We all get the message.
Yeah.
Which is this guy that's and that I think it's like kind of was like a hint to like because the whole kind of thing is like why would he help her? He could have just drove away. Why did he decide to help her after the plan went to shit? I think she finds the Quran and the prayer rug and goes like, oh, he's also resisting. Like he also hasn't bought in. He doesn't think it's right what they're doing. He's just trying to stay alive in his own way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, again, a fucking porno mag, a fucking
some gay
stuff, because you can't be
like,
gay.
Like you said, like an art
a
book.
Spider-Man comic book. A Spider-Man comic book would be banned. An old newspaper. What any fucking thing could have got that across. Or like a fucking like baseball hat that's like bright blue because they're all dressed in gray. Just something that's like we would get the point that he's probably not allowed to have this. That's why he's hiding it, but he likes it. It reminds him of a time when he could still believe in his religion, but still be free. And so, even though he might believe in this stuff more than this girl, he gets it. He knows this is wrong. You could have gotten that across in so many other ways. So to
So
pick that
it
was
was
so
it was
bad.
disappointing as a Margaret Atwood fan and like a fan of the book.
I would love
And
to
then
know what she thinks about
I know,
that.
me too.
Is she dead?
Especially no, especially because she has been getting a lot of shit lately from like contemporary feminists that she's not feminist enough, right? Because she has spoken out against certain things, like saying you guys are taking this too far, or like or just voicing her opinion that's different from the what popular opinion should be in feminism,
Can
quote
I just,
unquote.
yeah.
But yeah, I would be interested what her thought is, and it just symbolized to me like what pandering this show has become, which is sad.
That's what I mean. It
And, like,
it broke off from an interesting
Yeah,
fucking
dystopian.
what do you want
like,
to talk? An interesting kind of musing on kind of religious oppressiveness and the kind of taking it to its extreme ends and how that could go and how that would work in a contemporary American setting. And now, yeah, it's gone into just hashtag resistance. We're with her fucking porn. That's all it is. It's fucking schlock. It's awful. They use every fucking chance they can when they could do something different or even just do something benign. They don't need to add fucking hashtag resistance porn at this point, and they just add it. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. It's like, here's the thing, everybody. I don't know how to make this so clear. I don't know how you can be so quote unquote woke, but so fucking blind to the reality you live in. The Handmaid's Tale, it is not a dystopian future. It is a modern day Saudi Arabia.
Right?
It exists today. You do not have to fucking guess what it would be like.
Yeah.
It is like and exists in the Muslim world right now.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, did you know that in Ireland there's like a constitutional amendment against abortion and they're trying to get it overturned?
No.
So yeah, I am not Islamophobic. I agree that there
Wait,
are
what? Against abortion?
yeah, there's like an actual constitutional amendment against abortion
Like
in
you
Ireland.
can't get it, and they're trying to get it
It's
overturned.
against the law. You go to jail for it.
To have an abortion?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So and that's obviously a Catholic nation,
right.
right? They had
Why
their
did you bring that up though?
because
I'm
I'm
sorry, I don't
saying like
understand the
anyone's like,
time.
you think this only happens in the Muslim world? No,
Okay.
but it does. So to act like, oh, the Quran, one of the good ones, he's just hiding out.
Yeah,
No,
like, that's
it's
how-
one
yeah.
of the literally, while this show is airing, one of the current day worst perpetrators of religious zealotry and fucking misogyny and fucking homophobia and all the things that go along with all religious zealousy, but also, so I'm not saying just Islam, but I'm saying yes and Islam. So to include that, it's so tone deaf. And if I was a hijab wearing member of the progressive Middle Eastern community, I would be so fucking offended because this show takes on such a left leaning posture to be like, really? Really?
Well, it just here when you watch it, you feel this like it really is a championing of like fight for your rights, like this sense of like resist, right? And yeah, it's almost insulting to be like, not Christianity, that's dumb, because I went through that and I know how bad that is, and fuck those idiots. But like, yes, the Quran, you should be allowed to practice anything. Like, it's so insulting. And then to like say that this is what's happening in America, you know, female genital mutilation is still happening, you know, and that's like a storyline. You know, it just made me feel like, God, I'm so fucking privileged that I'm watching this show with Elizabeth Moss, who I can just go and like all her Instagram photos of her cool shoes, but I'm like, see, this is why we fight. Well, I'm not fighting. I'm watching a TV show.
But here, that's
and
the point. Is you know, she's the worst. She's probably a nice
no,
person,
I like her.
but her career is the worst.
I love it.
Her career
I
and
disagree
how
with you.
she represents herself in character and how the white American female takes it is the worst example of
Why?
all the things wrong with white female American culture.
Why do you say that?
Because that's what it is. It's like fucking Peggy from Mad Men. Oh, she's great. She's brave. She's exactly what we talked about. She became powerful in a world where she wasn't supposed to be by taking on the worst characteristics of the men around her. She didn't improve the role. She embraced it, made it worse at times, and then rose through the ranks
Oh, Peggy.
and
Okay.
oppressed every woman below her at every chance. She put on the cloak of the man.
You're not talking. Wait, you're talking about Peggy, the
Yes,
character.
but she is
Okay.
like the white female, like, yeah, we could do it too. We could start from secretary and be a boss bitch. No, you just become an awful person with no regard to personal relationships or your own well
I
being.
mean, do you think that? Well, she stood up for Joan that one time, and
One
Joan was pissed. Joan
one
was like,
time.
"I stand up for
One
myself."
time. And guess what? She got together with her fucking art bro at the end. That fucking ended in 2 years. She died alone and rich and with everyone that ever worked for her hating her. She became John Draper on steroids, I guarantee. She became a smoking, booze bag, mean spirited person. And that's the same thing with fucking this dumb project she took on. Every dumb woman who doesn't give a fuck about acid attacks or stonings or female circumcision going like, yeah, she's running away from her house, Handmaid's Tale, yeah. Like, you guys fucking stink, and she's the face of the stinkiest stink of white female fucking attitudes in America. The lefty brunch, the new brunch woke crowd. She's the fucking face of it, and it stunk during Mad Men, and it stinks now. Mad Men, great show. First season of Handmaid's Tale,
I
solid.
always felt
So,
like, you know who my favorite
and I'm not saying
Mad
she's
Men
a
was?
bad
I loved.
person,
Yeah, you
but
are. You just
she's
said that.
she's
You
not. I'm
just
not
said
saying
she was a
her
bad
because I'm not
person.
pretending I know her based on her characters, but I'm just saying what she represents. Her face, the meme that is her face, is the representation and the fucking demagogue to all the worst people in America that are of Caucasian vaginal complexion. It's awful.
I mean, I don't think that's true. I would give that to Trump voters.
Again, that's the word. Like, I wish all the fucking Elizabeth Moss fucking supporters and all the Trump supporters who are all white females would get together in a fucking house and we could set it on fucking fire and
Oh,
this
jeez.
country would finally be better. But you don't.
Justin,
The
that's
fact that they
just,
set her up.
you're so extreme.
The
Like,
fact that we
why
said
would you
the fact
say
that
that?
they put her in they like, okay, we're gonna hide you in like season, in episode 1 and 2 of season 2. They're like, okay, we can hide you out somewhere. Oh, we're gonna hide you out in this building and wait for to save you. All right, you get to hide here. Oh, it just happens to be the old Boston Globe, and there's all these blood stains and new. Oh, they killed the reporters. Oh, are reporters ever fucking sick of just bending over at the knees so they can suckle on their own cocks? I mean, I'm just tired of it. I mean, the whole premise of the show is that a group of people with machine guns and planning and bombs that could take out the whole Capitol building, yeah, the press was going to stop it. The press can stop anything. That's why they had to kill him. It's like, no, they were just killing everybody. This is one of like 1,000 groups of people they killed in this fictional future. But again, we couldn't just put her in the safe house. We need this B storyline of like, see, the first people they come for is the press. Ugh. Oh, see, the first people they come for is the peace-loving, never oppressive, never using machine guns to get a point across Muslim men. Oh, yes, that's who they come for. Just fucking give me a fucking break on that. It's such nonsense. And I will watch every episode of this season because I need to see how it ends.
Cool.
Come on. I'm just saying, you don't think it's awful?
That's why I brought it up as a topic, because I
know.
thought that was awful.
But you don't even think that Boston Globe thing is awful? You don't like?
No, I think that as a writer, that's just like a technique. You want to fucking put her in a place that's recognizable and have a storyline. I think what would you
But
do?
why
Where would
that
you put her in a
storyline?
field? What is she gonna do in a field? Like,
You don't need it. The storyline is like, how's this bitch gonna get safe? That's the thrill. Why do you need this other storyline?
well, you have 12 episodes to do
But
that.
that's my point. It's just because it's all these people that are mad that psychopath Hillary didn't get in office. We picked a different psychopath that just happened to be slightly fucking dumber, but just way better at talking to human beings. Everyone that's still sad about that, they're gonna fucking just take your money, selling you advertising minutes, you fucking dumb sheep that just can't fucking see. It's just so infuriating.
You know who I thought was the most feminist on Mad Men and who I love? I mean, I love Elizabeth Moss. I'm totally one of those people that you just suggested to be put in a building to set on fire because that's not violent at all. But I love Joan. I think Joan
She
was the most
is.
feminist, and that's why I love the ending. Is that Peggy was such a letdown because she went and to work for another man and like rise above. But like it's like we said with like she'll be one of those CEOs, but like destroying human life. And who knows what Joan goes and like what her company does. But like the fact that she was like, I don't want to just be a fancy lady for you. Like I want to run my own business. I'm going to start my own business in my kitchen. Like
But
it was
also,
fucking
she
cool.
would be a fancy lady at times and not feel bad about it.
Right. I know.
She was never really like mean to people. Peggy was constantly just a fucking.
The Joan was
She
mean
was
to
just
people.
a fucking hard on to everybody. You know what I mean? With the excuse of like, I'm working hard. I'm just. You don't know what it's like to be me. But Joan did just as much as she did, and fucking didn't just fuck up everyone along the way.
She also had a super cool pen necklace.
Was super cool. I don't know. This shit just riles me up because it's just so obvious.
I know. Why are you so angry?
Because it's just
about
so
it?
obvious. I mean, I just don't
like
want
I know,
to.
because like I feel like I brought up this topic because it made me angry, but you're like really angry.
It's just
about
like
it.
watching a campaign ad for an election that ended 2 years ago.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So you feel like I mean, because I think it's pandering to this audience. You
That's
agree,
what I mean,
and, like,
and that's
so
what I mean.
That's why it's so upsetting.
But
to
it's
you?
not even a political show. It's a dystopian thriller.
Oh shit, that's the most political show on television right now.
But it doesn't
Do you know
have
what? Do you
to
know
be.
what I thought?
You know what I
Actually,
mean? Like,
do you know what I thought was more revolutionary that we watched recently was Cobra Kai, because like I thought that was such a cool take on finding nuance in both sides of the fence, right? Like Danielson is probably a Democrat. Cobra Kai guy, what's his name? Johnny is
Johnny
like
Lawrence.
such a like a Republican and or just not even I don't know if he's a Republican, but just a Trump voter. Like that's who I think of, and like he was so charming and I was on his side and like totally understood him and I'm like, this is the show we need to watch, America. Cobra Kai, not Handmaid's Tale. Like this
True.
is what could be uniting
Cobra Kai
us
is really,
and like trying
Cobra
to
Kai was really fucking
trying
good.
to understand each other and honestly like finding the humor in this like resistance shit. Like, and I'm such a like person on that side of things, but like seeing it made fun of a little bit, but like not to the point of being like hated on was really funny and like cathartic, more cathartic than watching someone pander to me with a Quran.
But the whole thing, the globe thing, the Quran, like it's just all pander.
Yeah, I guess I didn't pick up on the globe thing because I thought that was more like just a storytelling device and like a way to show like mass murder of having this giant corporation that anyone who isn't from Boston could understand. Like, oh, a lot of people worked here, a lot of people like me just trying to do their job in an office and they were murdered.
But again, why not just make it, like you said, why not just make it an office building?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because the whole point is like, oh, people died here. I'm in a place where a bunch of people were rounded up and killed.
Yeah.
Why it could be any office building and it would have the same.
To be fair, I think that there was something like sort of devastating about seeing like a landmark institution turned into a killing grave, right? Like a killing site. So it wasn't even that to me it wasn't even that it was a press thing. It was that or like a newspaper organization. It was just like, oh my God, the Boston Globe, like that's such an iconic landmark and it's been just decimated into this killing field, right? Like that's I just for me that's what I thought they were doing, but I get what you're saying and I think that's true. That's
But again, like why? Again, like I don't. That's
I get it. I just said I agree with you.
I like you
as
say
to
it's the
why.
most political show on TV, but my point is like yeah, but I'm saying
I was just joking. It's because I think that
No,
I
but I'm
think
just
that
I guess I'm saying
they
it
know
doesn't
they're
have
being
to
political.
be. It doesn't have to be. It's a story. It's a story about
You
a
know-
woman, a single character, and then some side characters with similar problems, and like her mission to get to her family.
Well, that's why
And the rest around her, that's the window dressing that makes it exciting, and it's based off this book that had a very like kind of particular like mission and kind of voice. but again, it's like.
That's
why the
well,
Quran
Justin,
thing?
that's
Why any
well,
of this? And you
why
don't
is
need
obvious.
it.
Like,
well, I know it's obvious, but why? Meaning, like, why that? Just we
That's-
get that the world has. Hey, fuckers, the world has been built. Now, just move her story along. We get it. The world. They are bad. people that I just the world's been built.
I think that that's why season 2 has been interesting to watch, because it is like after the book, right? And I don't think if Hillary Clinton had won the election, we would not have the Handmaid's season 2 that we have today, because they started filming this before that. It was kind of brilliant timing on their part, accidentally, of like releasing this when Trump was elected, because that's why people, I think, clung to it so hard, because they were like, I need to escape and this makes me feel better, and like um but I agree with you. I thought the most interesting part of season 2 so far was in the colony, and like when she killed the one lady. Like that's so cool. Like seeing
Yeah,
it
because
now,
it's
how
just
it's
playing
progressing,
again. That's
right?
the
It's
point.
just a story.
Well, that's the point. The world is built.
Yeah.
What's happening in that world?
Yeah.
Here's something that's happening in the world. Here's her trying to escape. I mean, it was just such like that's what I mean. It was literally like they carved out 5 minutes to be like, hey, white women that voted for Hillary, and that's very cool.
Yeah.
Also, and then again, the most cynical thing about it, before you think I'm the most cynical person, I'm not. I'm an optimist, humanist, realist. I'm not cynical. You people misuse that word so much. You know what's fucking cynical is you dumb fucking clams do watch that. Do fucking rub your
Wait,
little
I
twat for fucking 5 minutes while they're showing that.
Justin.
And then what happens next? What happens immediately next? They sell you fucking Dove and fucking cheese. And they sell you. There's an ad right after it. They're just trying to get your dopey, dumb, soft, mushy brain in front of the television with the most benign, non-offensive, totally pandering bullshit so they can get you there, and then every 10 minutes for 3 minutes, they sell you fucking shit.
Okay, and
that's all it is.
Stop.
Handmaid Tale don't
Can
get.
I
Hey,
talk?
hey, women. You know who doesn't give a fuck about you? Hulu. The Handmaid Tale. None of them give a fuck about you. They just want to sell you shit, and they use it by pandering to your most base instinct. And there's nothing
with watching a TV show if you know that. Like,
but no one does. I guarantee you everyone on Twitter was like, see, they get it. They don't get it. That same religion is stoning people that are just like you, but a darker complexion. And that latter point is why you don't give a fuck about them and why you think it's cute to elevate this fucking thing that's literally a cousin. Not the believers are the ones that make you think that Christianity and Islam are in direct conflict. It's the dumb believers of both dumb fucking things that make you think they're in direct conflict. They're actually cousins. They were actually born from the same seed. They're branches on the same tree, from the same tree, born in the same part of the world around the same time. And that's why they hate each other, because they're related. And so to put one in as like this escape valve for this oppressed man, it's not. It's been used around the world to justify murder, torture, and colonization for fucking millennia.
Yes.
And you need to just get off that shit. And like I said, to me, if I was a progressive brown woman in the sandy parts of this fucking godforsaken planet, I would be so incensed to be like, really? You use that as a point of like, I get it too, bro. We're just trying to escape this craziness. It's like, no, this is happening now. This dystopian future happens where I live. I'm going to get raped, and then the guy that raped me is going to get a promotion, and I'm going to get stoned to death in a public park. That's what happens today in 2008 in the place that I live. Not in your phony Hulu future.
It's 2018.
18. It happened back then too. Probably worse. Now they got this new prince that's supposed to be like the cool prince.
Oh, they got a cool prince.
Got a cool prince in
Like the
Saudi
cool
Arabia
Pope.
now. Yeah. Ugh. So gross. That's why I didn't know you. That's why I'm so upset. It's so gross. It's not a misstep. It's not like I don't like who they cast for Batman, like nerd shit. It's just it's offensive.
Yes.
Fucking violent fucking imagery. It's violent imagery disguised as fucking like this beautiful fucking plot point. It's so fucking gross. I'm done. You can say anything you want though.
No, it's gone. I like Elizabeth Moss.
I'm not going to say I don't like her. I don't think I said I don't like her, because it would be fucking crazy of me to say I know her as a person. So I would never say I don't like someone if I don't know them as a person. I'm just saying the meme of her, the kind of public persona of her that has been elevated by the public. And like I said, the only critique I have of her is that she seems to support it. Is the worst parts of white American feminism with a demigod to worship it through, and then the roles she chooses and how those kind of just further this really toxic, violent, unfact based nonsense version of white American feminism. That's all I'll say.
Interesting.
Cool. And no other points?
No, my main point
I
was
was
that
allying it up to you to finish.
I thought
like
you
I
were
said,
going
we,
to topic 3. I guess,
oh, we gotta
no,
move. I was saying we gotta move on, so I'm
my
done.
topic
But I'll
2
let you
point
add on.
of, if you let me talk, was that I think
I
that,
was letting you talk. I was giving you a fucking preamble.
oh, you just totally took over that topic, bro. Like, again, I think that when we watch shows like this, yeah, there's nothing wrong with watching. Like we said, we're gonna keep watching it because like we like the dystopian storyline. Like that's cool, and I hope they lean into that a little more. That just was so jarring to me, especially being a Margaret Atwood fan and knowing what the book was about. It felt like an injustice to that original storyline, and it was insulting. It made me like feel like embarrassed that I was watching this instead of doing something actually good. And then I thought it was insulting that like this show is being championed as like this beautiful movement of resistance when it's lazy and fucking pandering and insulting to people who are going through this in real life. How fucking privileged that we get to watch it on a TV show and then be like, see, this could be us. Instead of like, we need to stop where this is happening right now. And we can't do that by being like, I mean, I believe that you should be allowed to practice whatever goofy, I love when you say goofy religion, the way you say it, goofy. Whatever goofy religion you want to fucking believe in, sure. But like, do not insert it into my my viewing experience.
Insert it, but don't act like
we're heroes because you.
Back when that religion had a place at the table, shit was so much better.
Yeah.
And no.
Yeah.
It's the fact that one of them got to take over.
And
it was
like
when they were fighting each other, at least it balanced it out. It's the fact that one took over. But if the other one took over that you found on the fucking bed, it would just be just as bad.
And like you said, there just were so many other opportunities to get that point across that there was rebellion happening. And again, it just would have been so much smarter to have like a novel. Because this is based on a book, like the book that was banned in places. Like, it could have just been this homage to like education, reading, freedom of thought. And instead you chose a religion, then I think that you just lost me. Like, clearly this is, like, to spit in the face of Trump and Trump supporters. And, like, that's not what I'm here for. Just want to see a cool show. And now you've made it fucking insulting and weird.
Yeah.
And privileged. So.
Well, like I said, it's double privilege. Like I said, it's the privilege of, this could happen. And it's like, it is happening everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's happening so much under the guise of the religion in the show that's doing it. But it's definitely happening a ton under the religion of this little secret book that you fucking literally have this fucking money shot where she's like kneeling on the rug and the camera pans down and then you see this like sun shining in and she's like awashed in like
light, follow the
resistance. We are all part of it in our own ways.
So gross.
So that's insulting to just the fact that people are going through this now under the fucking thumb of that religion that you're like fucking cum shotting on screen. But it's also offensive to the fact that again it's white offensive. It's offensive just as a white American lady. But then it's also offensive as the fact of like a white American lady who voted for Barack Obama, who fucking droned more people than any other president ever, like just literally like illegally murdered tons of fucking fucking people in Islamic countries.
Mm-hmm.
And Hillary Clinton was the fucking Secretary of State when that was happening. She wanted to be your president. She would have continued the program just as much. And again, this isn't like pro-Republican or pro-Donald Trump. It's just saying, like, just shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up with your sanctimony. The fact is, like I said, it's about the religion, but it's also about the fact that, like, you don't care about that religion, but you also don't care about the people. Because the people in those countries, we just murder indiscriminately, and we fucking blow up schools. We blow up whole weddings just to get one guy who maybe possibly could be a terrorist in a country that we're not at
Isn't
war
that
with.
from a movie? I'm just kidding.
But you know what I mean? Like, you don't care about anything. You don't care about the religion. You don't care about Muslims living in America, and you don't care about them living overseas, and you don't care about women living under these regimes. It's double.
You care about Muslims in America when you can put them on your cool two-toned poster for the rally.
Right.
Diversity.
But that's what I mean. It's double privilege. It's the privilege of white womanhood in America, and it's the privilege of being an American.
Yeah.
It's double privilege.
Yeah.
So, all right, topic 3. Man, we got to really kick it into a lighthearted year, and we do. So, a Wisconsin man just ate his 30,000th, is that how you say it? 30,000th
30,000.
Big Mac. Yay, he's ate. So he already held
What's on a Big Mac? Is it 3 pieces?
2 all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. You don't remember this little jingle?
No.
That's what it's on it.
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the special
So
sauce.
3 meats. 3
No,
patties.
2
2 patties. Oh,
2
sorry. Say
all
it again.
beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
Got it. Thank you.
So it's a decent sandwich. The special sauce is just like Russian dressing. It's a decent sandwich, but I guess this guy. So what is it? He's a retired Wisconsin prison guard. This is the most Wisconsin thing ever. He's a 64-year-old named Don Gorski.
Oh, Don.
So he already broke the record in 2016. He hit 28,788. So he broke the record already. He eats a Jesus. He says he eats a Big Mac almost every day and has done so since May 17th, 1972. He says he has kept most of the boxes or receipts or has made specific notes in calendars that he's kept. Yeah, and Gorski says he's eaten so many because he just loves hamburgers. Pretty simple man with a pretty simple thing. So, my question to you. This guy wasn't trying to break a record.
Yeah.
He's not weird in any specific way. He just loves hamburgers. Is there a food that you could eat every day until the point that you've literally consumed like 30,000 of them? Is there a food, and what is it?
Yeah, because at first I was like, probably French fries, but then I'm like, every day might get old. I could eat dark chocolate every day, like a Hershey's dark chocolate bar. I could do that every day.
Like little though. Come on, like an entree, especially
like
I said, especially like think of like a like a Big Mac. Is there like something like
mashed potatoes?
Well, that's why, like mashed potatoes from KFC. Is there like you have like a favorite mashed potato you could just crush?
I do.
Yeah.
That Bob Evans one that you get in the freezer aisle and you fucking microwave it. It's so good. That I could eat that every day.
Eat a half pan.
Does that count as an entree?
That's pretty good.
Oh,
that's better. That's more what I was
dark
thinking.
Chocolate.
That's more what I was thinking.
It's not like a snack. Okay.
And again, more of like a specific. I guess you did say Hershey's dark chocolate, but I'm thinking like the way you did a Big Mac.
Yeah.
So again, like I think I could like eat a hamburger every day.
Right.
Would be easier than eating a Big Mac every day because you could get different ones.
I see.
So
okay.
something that you could just like it would
Bob
be the same.
Evans creamy onion and chive.
Even the onion and chive.
Yeah.
And that's the only one. You can't go regular. You can't go the bacon one or the regular. You have to do just that one every day.
I could do it.
I was thinking like a 3-way.
Goes with everything.
I was thinking like a 3-way from Skyline Chili.
What's on that?
Spaghetti, chili, and cheddar cheese. Because I used to work at a Skyline.
You do love those things.
I used to work at a Skyline, so we'd get an employee meal. So I'd usually get that, or sometimes I'd do Coney's or something. Like I'd switch it up a little, but like I was like, I could probably like eat this for one of my meals every day. It's pretty fucking good. So I thought of like a Skyline 3-way. I could probably eat that every day, once a day.
Oh, now I want that for dinner. That sounds so good.
Bad. I have the packets. We can make it. It wouldn't
Let's
be done in like a good amount of time. Like we should do it this week though.
Okay.
Yeah, I can make some 3-ways for us. I
Hell
got the little seasoning packet. I can make it at home. It's pretty good. Tastes just like, because I used to work there, so I know the little secrets how to make everything like up to Skyline. There's like little things people miss that just like zhuzh it to that. When you make stuff, when you try to mimic stuff from a restaurant, you're like, it's good, but it's not perfect. I feel like I know some tips and tricks to get it like 90% match, 95% match instead of like a 75% match.
What is it? Are you going to give your tip and trick?
No. But there's just little ones. Little things you do with the pasta, little kind of just tips for cooking the chili itself, and just some other things I think help a lot.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that I thought I had one more on the books, but maybe not. That's definitely the big. I could probably eat like Popeye's fried chicken every day.
I know. I thought about that too, and then I was like, I don't think I could. I think it would be too rich. Like it'd be
I
too.
eat fried chicken so
I know you
frequently.
how you eat like chicken, something breaded chicken adjacent every
Yeah,
day.
like I consider chicken tenders, chicken nuggets, fried chicken. That's all fried chicken. It's
Yeah.
just boneless, but still fried chicken. Chicken nuggets, fried chicken.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's sometimes where I'm like, God damn, I ate fried chicken
you're like
6 times this
the
week.
Bubba shrimp guy.
I know.
Fried chicken,
Chicken nuggets,
nuggets.
chicken tenders. But yeah, I think a three-way. Just because, like I said, I kind of did it. There was maybe like when I was working my hardest. Put in my most shifts. I'd eat Skyline chili and some fat, but I'd usually do it.
You never got sick of it?
I
I feel
usually
like when I worked at restaurants, like I would eat something for a whole week and then be like, I can
I
never
know,
eat
but
that
that's
again.
not. I just liked it so much. I think again because it's like so unique. You know what I mean? Like something about a hamburger. I don't think, even though I love them, I don't know if I could do it every day because it's still just like bread and meat.
Yeah.
And maybe you get sick. But there's something like always about Skyline where I was like always a little excited for it because I knew like this is the only place I could get that flavor. Like I think I'd get
Yeah,
tired
that's
of a
true.
Big Mac because I'd be like, well, now I want to go to like Kuma's,
Yeah.
or I want to go to like a small Cheval. Like I want a
Totally.
burger, but I don't
There's
know if I
nowhere
want
else you're
a
getting.
Big Mac,
Yeah.
right? So it's
Yeah.
not like I would be like, I'm kind of sick of Skyline, but I could go for like, I probably just like would never eat like spaghetti and meatballs again because it's like too similar. I don't, like if I was trying to do this, I don't know, but yeah, I could probably do that. Maybe Popeyes though. That would be pretty close. Especially if I just did the chicken. Sometimes I might be too full for the sides, but if it was literally like, could you eat 2 pieces of Popeyes fried chicken every day? I might probably. Especially because unlike Skyline, that might again like I think we're talking in a world of just flavor, but now let's up it to a world where you actually have to like live a life.
Yeah.
I'm like I think fried chicken it has that breading, but it is mostly meat protein. So I feel like if you just ate 2 pieces of chicken with no mashed potatoes or French fries or whatever,
It wouldn't be so bad.
you would feel okay.
You can have some of my
You
mashed
you
potatoes.
could still work out and you're still getting a lot of protein. You just have to do cardio to kind of counterbalance all the
all that
oil.
fried.
But it's not I don't think it's as bad for you. Whereas like Skyline, it's like a big plate of fucking just white pasta. It's still like that's like a lot of fucking just empty carbs that would
Yeah.
kind of like weigh you down. So, but yeah, that's my pick.
I want Skyline now.
I know we'll make some
Make
this
it this
week.
week.
It sounds really good. We could maybe make it today. Do you want to make it today?
We gotta eat that Indian food.
Let's make it today. Let's go to the store right after this
Okay.
and get this stuff.
I'm kind of
going.
into it.
Kind of into it too. It's like Sunday. Let's have fun.
Okay. We're gonna have fun with some Skyline.
Oh, and
this is your 30s.
and we're going on a weight loss challenge for like a month starting
totally.
next week.
So
So
we
it's
gotta
like
get
it's
it in.
percentage of weight loss. So it benefits us to bulk
So
up
we're
a few
bulking
pounds.
up.
So then when we dump it, we get a higher percentage of weight loss. Because if it was just number of pounds, then who cares? It's percentage. So we start a little tubbier. Better chance of winning the contest. All right, that's the show. I think we ran long as fuck.
How long?
I yelled. Jackie got upset. I called for the murder of a group of people. Pretty classic
a
sound.
group of murder of a group of people of which I am included.
I don't think
Per
you are.
usual.
You're smarter than them, though. That's why I married you. Because, like, you understand that. Like, this is what
So maybe you're not explaining it correctly, or like, what do you? I don't know what you mean by like people who like Elizabeth Moss, or just that you're saying that base level, like when you see her, you're like feminism, like
You
that, or like
you don't think she is just anything. Like, but
Mhm.
you don't have you don't have a demigod in anything. In feminism, in whatever you identify as in
Yeah.
being a Democrat. I don't even think you'd call yourself a Democrat, even though you've probably never voted Republican. You wouldn't call yourself a Democrat.
I'm registered independent. Is that right?
I don't know.
I
But
wasn't
the point
Ohio. It
is,
doesn't
the
matter.
point
Like-
is, it's like I'm talking about a very specific people. The house we're setting on fire, filled with these people, would be smaller than I think you'd think. I'm not a fucking monster,
Big red.
for sure. But maybe you're not. Because then you're just. I'm not attacking feminism.
No,
I'm
I know.
attacking. I'm attacking like neoliberalism. Just pat myself on the back, but not actually make the world a better place for really anyone in this country, and definitely no one in other countries. But I feel good, and also
It's just-
like I fucking own a handbag that costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
Just
I
like
think
all
that-
those
right.
dumb people is who should be
The
in the
blind
house.
spots where you let yourself be blind to them, and like
But not let
Well-
yourself be blind. See something that congratulates you and goes, yeah,
Yeah, there's
That's the
definitely.
extra step
I
where I'm like
know.
burning a house.
That's
You know, I mean, everyone can be a little blind.
and honestly,
No one has time to see
that is
everything,
what
but to be blind and then be like, me, burn in a fucking house.
I feel like that is what is like just made me yeah, like I don't like being on Facebook cuz yeah, it's just so self-congratulatory and not even like with likes but with like people sharing stories of things that they did that was so important or like, without doing anything real or lasting and like it's not I hate that like social justice warrior. I hate that term because it's like I you don't feel bad for sharing a link on Facebook. You know, like that's fine. It's when that's all you're doing and you feel like you are like a hero because you fucking shared a story about how someone catcalled you and you said no. Like it's clearly about you wanting to post that someone catcalled you. Do you know what I mean? Like just these obvious things. And again, I'm picking on the left because that's probably what I see more now because I know more people. I like associate more with those people.
Right.
But I think those people on the extremes, right or left, are fucking monsters. Both sides,
But it's
right?
also like, but it's also like that. It's also the thing of like, so today, a construction worker working 60 hours a week that's all probably living at the poverty line and is in danger of losing that source of revenue without a reasonable way to earn revenue after that. He, said something to me and I shut him down and pretty much I'm the same as some poor woman in India getting raped by 10 men on a bus. Me! I did it! I stopped
75
it!
likes.
I yelled at someone affected by poverty just
I
like
know.
me and my friends. So, it's really class warfare, not gender or race warfare, but I'm going to
Yeah.
ignore that because that doesn't feel good. Also, everyone that looks like me in any other part of the world but here has a life that I couldn't even imagine. I'd kill myself if I had to live it for 10 days. Me! You know what I mean? It's just like,
Totally.
shut up.
Yeah.
All right, we got to close. We basically did
No, it's good. Hey,
topic
though, I'm
two,
glad
part two.
I'm glad because remember we fought on the podcast before and like haven't resolved it online. You know, we've done it offline, and I think
I know people always wonder probably like how are these two still married? And it's because basically what you just saw we end up doing off air.
Well, but I think that's important too. Like, and you were like, next time ask the questions, or you know what I mean. Like, try to like, what is upsetting me, and like, I think
Right.
maybe that's what it was where I had to ask you. And good, like again, I think this is why podcasts and live entertainment are just things live and not so fucking prescriptive or branded or brought to you by like.
Right.
It's important for us to
Because we
listen
can take
to
45
and
minutes or we
experience.
can take 3 hours. We'll take as long as it needs
Well,
to work through
it's
the
important
topic.
to like listen to that and just remember like how to have conversations with each other, right? And like how I can tell you, I don't think that's cool. You said people should burn up in a building, but like help me understand what you mean by this like Elizabeth Moss thing. You know what I mean? Like whereas before I've been like just fucking furious at you
Like
for
I said,
saying
and
something,
that's my
and
point.
like I haven't been able to put into words until later that like I was angry because everything feels so heated right now and you're just adding to that and that makes me angry.
Totally,
You know,
and
like
obviously I use fiery language because this is a podcast, it's entertainment.
Yeah.
I'm upping the level, but it doesn't mean I don't mean what I say. It's mean just like the again, like as I talked about, I mean everything I say. The window dressing on it is to make your fucking data entry job a little more exciting. And thank you for listening. But you know what I mean, like. That's the point. It's not about Elizabeth Moss. Obviously, as a person, I hope she has a great, successful life and goes on and is happy in whatever she does. She's a human being. I wish the best for her as a human being. It's just like I'm saying, like her public persona, which again is usually crafted by the public, not her. So I'm not even blaming her for that. But that's my point. It's not about women that love Elizabeth Moss are particularly bad. I think they are, but it's again, it's dude. It goes back to the Handmaid's Tale. It's because you're that's your label. You have this like I said, this kind of worshiping figure that you bow to, and there's tons of them. There's tons of people in different sects that have different fucking demigods that they fucking pray to, and that socially pray to, not like on your fucking knees next to your bed. And that's the annoying thing. And this is just one specific fucking sect. And it's like I said, it's just particularly because we had topic 2 and it was about the Handmaid's Tale and this fucking Quran scene. It was just specifically pointed at them because, like I said, I could just see these women that follow her on Instagram and be like, Peggy's me today. I'm having a Peggy day. And Handmaid Deal could happen here if we don't watch out. And if we don't watch out for this Cheeto in office, this could be us. It's those women, and then they're like, and Carrie gets it, and I liked her on Instagram, so I pretty much solved world peace. It's those me women, like that's the point. It's like they're the one. The reason they're awful is because they saw that Quran scene. They didn't take a step back. They didn't think about anyone but themselves, let alone other women who just happen to come out of a vagina in the worst fucking parts of the world that they could to be themselves. And you're gonna sit there and watch that scene and be like, us 2018, watch out, we're coming for your midterms. We're gonna vote in people that will give us social policies that make us feel better, but essentially perpetuate the same violence everywhere else in the world that the Republicans do. Yay, me, us, blue team. It's like, fuck you, it's all evil.
Well,
It's all evil
and
bullshit.
it's just
The Republicans just add on social evil bullshit, but the blue and the red do the evil bullshit behind the scenes that all of us would hate if we had to see it for
and
a second.
it's so hard to see where you have your own sort of faults, right? And like, I feel like we make fun of guys for loving these sports heroes, even though they're like fallible characters, or just like, why do you hero worship some dumb sports guy? But then like we hero worship our female characters that aren't even real roles, like
And
we
also,
all
but
do
you
it.
can. Like, I think
Yeah,
LeBron
dude,
James
yeah,
is
totally.
cool.
Yeah.
I don't worship him.
Right.
I don't really care what he says about social issues any more than a regular citizen. Like, if he's a citizen, if he has something interesting to say, I'll be like, cool point. But I'm not like,
Yeah.
well, he plays basketball, so his point is very important to
Right.
me.
He's the best basketball player, so.
So clearly he knows everything about fucking dynamic social issues because he can dunk very well. Yeah, but there are people, again, there are people
Have
that
you
can
seen
do that.
fadeaway
There
shot?
are people that do that, and if there was a certain thing in some NBA playoffs commercial that had just as glaring as a blind spot, and I could tell that there were, people at home, going like me, or whatever, I would also encourage them to be put into a building and set on fire. It was just, I picked that group because that's the group we were talking about. But yeah, it's really, again, just like we talked about feminism or MRA or Muslim versus Christianity. It's about the label. It's about the dogmatism. And you could be dogmatic to a sports figure, to an actress. It's that picking a person, worshiping it, and then losing your free thought, losing your ability to worry about people around you. Just be like, my day got a little bit better, so the world at whole must be better because I'm right, and I don't even really have real ideas to be right about. I just kind of follow these ideas. So it's just all gross. It's just all goofy.
Goofy. It's so goofy. Yeah. Well, and like I
don't know.
Yeah.
There's no other way to say goofy for me but that. Fucking goofy.
Yeah, and I just think that really smart storytelling and like TV, again, some of the smartest TV I've seen about these issues takes such a nuanced take on it, like Cobra Kai or
Cobra Kai was
honestly
so good.
Roseanne. Like what we talked about too. Like I think that those are things I would like to support or like
Also,
encourage people to watch. But
also, Roseanne people, just because you fucking idiots wouldn't even know this because you don't give anything a chance, it fucking after episode 2, it like never talks about politics again.
Well, that's not what they're mad. They're mad at Roseanne Barr or Roseanne. Yeah, the actress. Whatever. It doesn't matter. We talked about this last time. Let's go make some Sky 9.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, and hey, last thing I'll say related to podcast stuff is like we talked about this on the train. You were given this life from the benevolent universe to make me a kinder person, and I was given to you to make you a more rational brass tacks person. So I like that we talk these out, and I'm glad that you make me clarify, but I also hopefully I would like to be glad that I hopefully make you kind of like less
lighten up a little bit,
not less kind, but like just like don't take bullshit and don't kind of just take optimism on its face because it looks good and
do you know
it
what
feels
it's,
good.
do you know
like,
where I think it's coming
when
from?
you
Though?
see
It's
that
not
optimism,
it's that like it's feeling sensitive to the fact that like in our first topic we talked about these boys being burned alive in a building, and then you're like, and we're gonna put all these people in the building and burn. I know you were joking, but like I'm so sensitive.
Golak Haram, I'm starting a new group.
I'm like a little clit. Like,
but
I'm
you
so
know what?
sensitive
Totally.
that
But
I'm like,
I'm
just
glad.
don't
But
say
my
that
point is,
glibly, that happens.
But my point is, the reason I scream like I do on topic 2 is to just make you realize, like, you gotta recognize everyone's trying to feed you bullshit, and maybe you can pick
I don't
some.
need you to tell me that.
You don't. You need it from me. Dude,
Oh,
why do you gotta shit on my point? I'm just trying to end. Can you just let me end the goddamn podcast more than
act
anything?
Like you're like a hero. Like
I'm about to give you credit in the next breath. If you could just
Oh,
shut
okay.
your goddamn mouth for a second. Typical fucking woman.
Shut up. You're like the big red lady. If you shut the fuck. Oh, she was such a monster.
Do not even compare me to her. You're
Yeah.
closer to her.
No, you
'Cause
are.
you got red
You
hair.
are. You are fucking.
The way you've been
You
eating,
talk
the
like
way you're
that.
eating that skyline, you're about to be big red.
I'm bulking up for the weight loss challenge.
Yeah, whatever excuse you need, bro. So I'm just saying, like, I think I scream at you because I just want you to fucking see that everyone's trying to sell you bullshit, but you can take it in, you can pick the corn out of the shit and move the rest into the garbage bin, right? I think that's why I scream, but I'm glad you're here after topic 3 to be like, hey, can you like clarify those statements? Like, again, that's why we work together, I think, in a relationship as a podcast team. So like I'm saying, I think sometimes you want to just be kind of like, you want to be too friendly, and I think it can kind of melt into naivete, and I think
And I think you're kind of an asshole, and it
yes.
can melt into hardness and not seeing where there is just genuine.
Well, I think
just genuine.
it's more so
stop,
you
just
don't.
genuine humanness in people's mistakes.
No,
that
that's
you don't
not true.
give
I'm
them
very
credit
good at
for.
that. I think.
Oh my god.
No, I think what you do is you make me explain and clarify nuance. I think someone shouting doesn't have nuance, but I think someone with too much nuance gives credit to people and ideas that don't deserve credit. I think that's
Sure, maybe that's yeah.
Bam! See, you nailed it. Touch my hand.
I'm not.
Touch it. I'm not even asking for a shake
I
or a
have to
high five.
pee.
See, just a touch.
Time to go.
Okay, I was about to end. Touch it. Touch my hand. Come on.
You touch my hand.
Touch together. Just mush them into each other. See, I didn't ask for a handshake or a high five. See, I ended on a good note, right? It's really about nuance. You make me give a little more. I make you accept a little bit less from dog shit things that don't deserve it. And we meet in the middle, and this is the best podcast. Don't talk, because if you talk, we're not going to end it.
Don't talk to me like that.
I'm just saying,
That
if you
just-
talk,
you're
you know
making-
what. If
you're
you
making
talk,
it
you know we're going to
worse.
spin off into another 20 minutes discussion. If you want to pee and you want chili, you'll just let me close.
Just don't like that's so condescending.
Just watch what I'm about to do and just realize how beautiful it's about to be.
Ugh, I'm just gonna go pee.
It's me and Jackie working together that makes this the best podcast that you could listen to. Thanks for giving us your time. And if you agree it's the best podcast in the world, you know what you can do? You can support it. You can support it at Patreon. Did you see what I did there? How good was that? Just let me get into my ending. I wasn't trying to fucking overshadow your point. I was just trying to close strong, baby. Patreon.com/LOClass, no dash. Give us $1. Give us a couple bucks. Give us more than that, and we'll send you some stuff in the mail, and you'll feel good about yourself. Maybe we'll discuss your topic like we just did in topic 1. We can have a lot of fun together. We can make art together. We hope you had a good time. We hope you support us. Patreon.com/lowclass, LOClass, no dash. FemComPod.com, lowclass.com, LO-class.com. I'm Justin Golak, JustinGolak.com, at Justin Golak on Twitter. Check out that riddle. Justin at JustinGolak.com. Send me those dick pics. JackieManty.com, at Jackie_Manty on Twitter. Jackie at JackieManty.com. Send her them tit pics. Jackie, anything you got to plug before you pee?
Skyline Chili
You know, plug Skyline Chili.
and Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai is really good. Lowclass.com, LO-class.com. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a good time.
Bye.
Bye.